Let me introduce you to the main character, Goda. He is a big and husky guy who appears intimidating, but he has a kind heart and is very popular among his male friends. Despite his attempts to confess his feelings to cute girls, they always reject him. One day, Goda falls for a girl and prepares to confess his feelings to her, but she ends up confessing to his best friend, Suna. Suna is very handsome and popular, but he turns down all the girls who confess to him. They have been friends since childhood, despite their differences, but Goda doesn't understand why Suna isn't interested in girls. Later on a train, Goda notices a girl being groped and intervenes to stop the perpetrator. The grateful girl turns him into the police, but Goda ends up punching the perpetrator when he says something nasty to the girl. Goda is punished for his actions. The girl comes to Goda's house to thank him again, and they bond over cheesecake. She leaves her phone behind, so they arrange to meet again. Goda meets her at the park with Suna, where they share some macaroons. He assumes that the girl is interested in Suna, but Suna says something nice about her for once, further fueling Goda's misconception. The girl forgets to get Goda's email after he asks her to make more sweets for him, so she runs after them to get it. Goda admires her determination, but decides to be a good friend to Suna and help him get together with the girl, despite liking her himself. This sets the stage for a cute, sweet, and romantic love story. Next day, Goda continues to receive adorable texts from Rinko in class, but he still believes that Rinko is interested in Suna and resolves to help them get together. Goda tries to move things along by asking Suna if he's seeing anyone, as he has never understood why Suna doesn't date despite girls being interested in him. As Goda and Rinko exchange more texts in class, they take a step forward in their relationship by dropping the honorifics in each other's names. However, Goda remains oblivious to Rinko's feelings. Goda brings Suna along to meet Rinko at the park again, where she treats Goda with the sachator she promised to make for him. Although Rinko doesn't appear pleased to see Suna with them, she remains pleasant. Suna offers to get some drinks, indicating he wants to give them some privacy, but Goda doesn't catch the hint. Instead, he tries to sell Suna's good qualities to Rinko, but she doesn't seem interested. Later, Rinko asks for permission to text Goda again, and he agrees but encourages her to get Suna's contact information too. However, Rinko doesn't understand the point of it, but accepts it. As Rinko is leaving, a beam suddenly falls and almost lands on her, but Goda quickly saves her. Suna helps Rinko get out from under the beam, and Goda feels he made the wrong choice by saving the beam instead of Rinko. However, he fails to realize that if he hadn't stopped the beam, both he and Rinko would have been crushed. They come back to help Goda, and Rinko tries her best to push up the beam, inspiring Goda with her cute struggle. Later that night, Rinko calls Goda to check on him and asks him out again, but specifically requests that he come alone. She's finally making her move, but Goda still doesn't realize why she wants to be alone with him. He mistakenly believes she wants advice about Suna, and finds it hard to believe that she would actually be interested in him. Rinko meets Goda the next day as planned, looking incredibly cute as she tries to gather the courage to confess her feelings to him. However, Goda inadvertently ruins the moment by continuing to try and sell Suna to her, oblivious to the fact that Rinko wants to confess her feelings for him. Overwhelmed by her frustration, Rinko finally reaches her breaking point and starts crying, shocking Goda. Concerned, he rushes over to Suna and asks if he did something to upset Rinko. Finally, Suna reveals that Rinko actually likes Goda and that she confessed her feelings for Goda to him a while ago. Suna explains that the reason he always turned down girls who confessed to him is that they would talk badly about Goda behind his back. He was protecting Goda from hearing hurtful things. Coincidentally, Rinko shows up at Suna's house seeking advice on what to do. She openly admits her feelings for Goda, and to drive the point home, Suna has her repeated multiple times while Goda hides under the bed, listening. With the truth finally out in the open, Goda and Rinko have a heartfelt and adorable face-to-face confession. They express their feelings for each other in a sweet and touching scene. Suna, being the supportive friend he is, gives them their moment after a job well done. Goda realizes that Suna has been a true bro throughout and expresses his gratitude. Rinko acknowledges the strong bond between Goda and Suna, appreciating their friendship. To show their appreciation, Goda and Rinko bake a cake for Suna as a thank you gesture, even though Suna finds it overly sweet. Suna states that he is simply happy to see Goda happy and was just being a good friend by helping them. Goda realizes that he has a true bro in Suna and thanks him for everything. With their feelings out in the open and their friendship strengthened, Goda and Rinko embark on their adorable and heartwarming journey together. On the next day, the story revolves around Rinko inviting Goda to a mixer with some of her friends. Rinko wants Goda to bring along some of his male friends, and one of them happens to be Suna. The meet begins with Rinko's friends being surprised to see her new boyfriend, Goda, due to his towering stature and unconventional appearance. Throughout the event, Goda's presence creates quite an impression on everyone. However, things take a turn when Rinko and Goda overhear Rinko's friends, Edia and Nanako, speaking ill of Gota behind their backs. The hurtful words deeply affect Rinko, and she becomes upset, running away from the meet. Gota quickly realizes that something is wrong and chases after her, determined to understand what happened. He finds Rinko and assures her that he doesn't care about the negative opinions of others, because he cherishes the kind words Rinko has said about him. Gota's unwavering love and support comfort Rinko, strengthening their bond. Just as they are trying to reconcile, a sudden fire breaks out in the building where the meet was being held. Panic ensues as Aya and Nanako are trapped inside. Without hesitation, Gota springs into action, rushing into the burning building to save them. However, as he attempts to rescue the girls, Gota himself becomes trapped under some rubble, putting his life in danger. Despite the dire situation, Gota remains determined and refuses to give up. He receives an encouraging phone call from his best friend, Suna, who reminds him of his inner strength and the unwavering support he has from those who care about him. Empowered by Suna's words, Gota gathers his courage and manages to free himself from the rubble by jumping through a second-story window. Gota emerges from the burning building, much to the relief of Rinko and her friends. His brave and selfless act of rescuing Aya and Nanako changes their perception of him. They now see Gota in a new light, recognizing his heroic nature and the depth of his character. The episode concludes with Rinko's friends admiring Gota's coolness and apologizing for their previous negative remarks. They come to realize that appearances and superficial judgments mean little when it comes to matters of the heart. The experience strengthens Rinko and Gota's relationship and reinforces the love and respect they have for each other. Next day, the story continues to explore the blossoming relationship between Gota and Rinko, while delving into the challenges and misunderstandings they face. As word begins to spread throughout their class about Gota and Rinko's romantic relationship, everyone was gossiping about them. Gota finds himself in yet another heroic situation. On his way to meet Rinko for a date, he saves a child from drowning, further cementing his reputation as a kind-hearted and dependable person. The couple enjoys a romantic evening stroll through the park, but Gota remains oblivious to some of Rinko's subtle hints and gestures. Despite this, their time together is filled with warmth and affection. Meanwhile, Suna is visited by his older sister, Ai. She is taken aback when she learns that Gota has a girlfriend, as she had secretly harbored a crush on Gota herself. A surprise and curiosity about Gota's relationship with Rinko spark her interest in meeting Rinko in person. The next day, Ai decides to accompany Gota and Rinko on their date. During the outing, Rinko is disheartened when she discovers that she made a mistake while baking cookies for Gota. However, Gota's genuine appreciation and enjoyment of the cookies reassure Rinko and make her feel relieved. During their time together, Gota innocently remarks on Rinko's purity, which catches Ai's attention. Ai realizes that Rinko might be feeling uncertain or troubled about her relationship with Gota. Sensing Gota's own lack of awareness regarding Rinko's feelings, Ai offers to have a conversation with Rinko to understand her concerns better. The episode ends with Ai expressing her willingness to help Gota and Rinko navigate their relationship by bridging the communication gap between them. The next day begins with Gota realizing that he needs to improve his understanding of girls. He decides to study shoujo manga in order to gain insights into their thoughts and emotions. Meanwhile, Suna and An meet up with Rinko, who confides in them about her desire to become more intimate with Gota, but fears that he may view her as impure. Putting her own feelings aside, Ai encourages Rinko to be honest with Gota and express her true emotions. Later, Ai shares her own story with Suna, revealing that she has also fallen for Gota, but is willing to support Rinko's happiness. In another encounter, Gota catches up to Rinko and attentively listens to her every small request, accepting them without any argument. This gesture of understanding and consideration strengthens their bond. Rinko then confesses to Gota that she had lied a few times before would have an excuse to keep seeing him. Surprisingly, instead of being upset, Gota becomes even happier, appreciating Rinko's efforts to spend time with him. Later that night, as Ai makes her way back home, Rinko spots her first shooting star, symbolizing hope and new beginnings. Meanwhile, Gota approaches Suna and asks him to practice kissing, wanting to be prepared for his relationship with Rinko. Although initially resistant, Suna eventually agrees, and the scene ends with the two of them comically attempting to practice kissing. The next day begins with the judo club seeking Gota's assistance for an upcoming match against a rival school. Despite knowing that it will reduce the time he can spend with Rinko, Gota agrees to join the club for a month to help them prepare. He is determined to support his friends and contribute to their success. As Gota becomes increasingly involved in the judo club, his available time to spend with Rinko diminishes. Concerned for her safety, Gota asks Rinko not to meet him at night. Although she misses him dearly, Rinko respects his wishes and refrains from interfering with his training. This leads to a sense of longing and a desire to support Gota in her own way. During this time, Rinko confides in Suna and explains the reasons she fell in love with Gota. She admires his kindness, selflessness, and unwavering dedication to helping others. Rinko's conversation with Suna showcases her deep understanding of Gota's character and her willingness to wait patiently for him. The day of the match arrives, and Gota faces his opponent, Tsuyoshi Ueyama. Tsuyoshi underestimates Gota, believing that having a girlfriend has made him weaker. However, Gota proves him wrong by displaying his incredible strength and skill. With the support and motivation he draws from his love for Rinko, Gota emerges victorious, securing the win for his team. On the next day, Gota ponders how to celebrate Rinko's upcoming birthday on June 15th. During a conversation with his mother, he learns the joyful news that he will become a big brother in January. Excited by this announcement, Gota becomes preoccupied with thoughts of his new sibling. Meanwhile, Suna discovers that his father has been hospitalized and is scheduled for surgery on June 15th, the same day as Rinko's birthday. Recognizing the significance of this day for Gota and Rinko, Suna decides to assist Gota with his plans for Rinko's birthday, even though it conflicts with his own family situation. As Gota takes on a part-time job at a cafe to earn money for Rinko's present, Suna offers suggestions and reminisces about his own past experiences. Despite the seriousness of his father's situation, Suna finds amusement and solace in helping Gota prepare for the birthday celebration. However, as the date approaches, Suna urges Gota not to abandon his plans with Rinko to accompany him at the hospital. Recognizing the importance of both events, Gota decides to respect Suna's wishes and proceeds with his preparations for Rinko's birthday. As the day begins, Gota sees off Suna, who is heading to the hospital for his father's surgery. Following the plan that Suna had prepared for him, Gota takes Rinko on a birthday outing. They start by going bowling, where Gota's strength proves to be advantageous as he easily knocks down all the pins. They have a fun time together, enjoying each other's company and strengthening their bond. After bowling, Gota takes Rinko to a fancy restaurant for a romantic dinner. However, throughout the day, Gota can't stop thinking about Suna and his father's surgery. He feels torn between spending time with Rinko and being there for his best friend. Eventually, Gota decides to share the truth with Rinko and opens up about Suna's situation. He explains his dilemma and expresses his desire to be there for Suna during the surgery. To Gota's relief, Rinko understands and supports his decision. She encourages him to go visit Suna and assures him that she will be alright and enjoy her birthday, even if their plans change. Gota rushes to the hospital to be by Suna's side during his father's surgery. The operation is successful, bringing relief to both Gota and Suna. As they exit the hospital, they find Rinko waiting for them with a smile on her face. She had decided to wait for them and enjoy the rest of her birthday together, despite the unexpected change in plans. The three friends celebrate the day, appreciating their bond and the understanding they share.